It's good, Mora. I'm so happy to have you here. So, Mora and I, yeah, we've known each other for a little while. We met at a community that I was running in New York, and then we became friends, and then we started working together. I don't even remember. I think it was like 2023, maybe, or something like that. And then we worked together
23.
again in
Yeah.
2024. And initially, Mora, when she came to me, she was mostly doing therapy work, but she had visions of like, you know, moving more into helping women of color with birthings and have being resourced in that, and also being a thought leader and sharing more of her ideas and having her own practice. And these were just some of the visions that we had in mind. And yeah, it's been beautiful to see you realize a lot of those things over the years. So I'm gonna allow you to introduce yourself, but it's a little background on, yeah, our relationship and some of the work you've done.
I appreciate that, Kyle. Always a pleasure to see you. So, I am a private practitioner. I started my own private mental health practice in December of 2024. I also am an adjunct professor and I am a birth and postpartum doula.
Mhm.
And we're doing this entrepreneur stuff full time right now, thanks to my dear friend Kyle.
Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. It's so cool to sit here, like the work you do, because it's like, yo, you're always getting it. You're always making it happen.
It's true.
That's for sure. That's for sure. Okay, beautiful, beautiful. So I would love to hear just if you think about your journey from when we first started working together all the way to now. If you can think about sort of the ways that you have grown, not just related to me, but like what are the ways you feel like you've had to grow to be able to create the more of the life you have now?
Hmm. I feel like I never thought that becoming an entrepreneur was a possibility. I think that the idea of starting a business always felt like something part-time, something I would do on the side. I like to call myself the Nigerian Kiki Palmer because I always have a job, stay with a job. But I also knew that I could work better and could create like a more sustainable life if I actually spent time looking at what are the things that were blocking me. A lot of it was around anxiety, a lot of it was around fear, a lot of it was around scarcity. And so I think that those were the things that were like highlighted in our initial work.
Mhm.
And then as I decided to transition into working for myself, I realized how much of it, similar to like becoming a social worker, a lot of it is self work.
Mhm.
And being an entrepreneur is about like confronting all of those things like regularly. Like every week, it's like, are we going to get this bill paid? Or like, oh God, like we need to add this, or like we need to implement this system. This isn't working as well.
Mhm.
And it's very easy to repeat like bad habits when
Mhm.
you are focused on scarcity. Like, I have to burn the midnight oil, I have to work 12, 20 hours, etc. And as I have spent more time with myself
Mhm.
and recognize like the origins of those fears, I
Mhm.
realize that they're not real and that I am constantly creating a life that feels better to me. And I think that what's awesome about being an entrepreneur is there's no week that is the same, like at all.
Mhm.
And as someone who's a type A person, that was very stressful. Like the first month of entrepreneur, I'm like, you were out of your mind. You know what? You need to just go back on LinkedIn and like get you a 9 to 5 and like this is a bad idea.
Mhm.
And then we made it through quarter one. And I was like, I made it through quarter one working for myself.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What does that mean for quarter two? And then also delegation has been very key. Like the team
Mhm.
around me is just like everyone is pouring into me, everyone believes in me, everyone sees the value, and then in turn, I also recognize my own value. And it's just like this beautiful reciprocal energy that continues to fuel my work.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's so beautiful. Yeah, yeah. I mean, and what I'm hearing in so much of that is like the stories that you tell yourself, the beliefs you have, and how that's impacted by your environment, the people you're around. But also, it sounds like just proving to yourself that like you're capable of doing it. So, kudos to you. Kudos to you. That's super super cool. When you think about our work together, what were some of the things that surprised you or like you didn't expect to, um, yeah, didn't expect to be a part of the experience or part of what you took away from the experience, if anything?
I didn't expect it to be so activating.
Mm.
Like there was like a level of vulnerability that I feel like we reached that I was like, oh, it's a little too much. I just came here to start a little business, and now you are breaking me open. I'm feeling very exposed. I don't know how I feel about that. And I'm just like, oh, this is the work.
Yeah.
And also, I think even the modeling that you have shown in your journey as an entrepreneur has been to a degree like a compass,
Mm.
even in working with you, because I was like, man, I remember when he was doing his first business, and then I remember even how you process like the ending of this chapter and then really ramping up into like this new business venture. And I was like, man, like you have to just be so connected to yourself to like know when it's time to pivot and not be scared or even view it as a failure. And I think that that is also part of being an entrepreneur is like how many times are you willing to try and like tweak and try again. And again, as someone who is a type A, who is like a recovering perfectionist, I was like, oh my God, what if this fails? And
Yeah.
in working with you, I was like, oh, you never really fail.
Mm.
And like, what would it look like if that was no longer a belief?
Mm.
Like, there's so much freedom in that.
Mm.
And I was like, oh, I did not realize that some of these barriers are like chains of my own making, like prisons of my own making. And
Yeah.
I feel like that to me like it
Yeah.
was big.
That's so cool. I'm curious because it seems like there's this change in your perspective from you never fail. So what's the new perspective that you have now from like you never fail? Like what would the alternative language for that be in your experience?
I feel like every experience or even every barrier is like an opportunity to learn something about myself and
Mm.
to learn how to do something more efficiently, more effectively, better.
Hmm.
And it's more about thanking the universe for bringing this challenge to me because, like, it is only going to make me better. And it
Hmm.
always does.
Hmm. Hmm.
And, like, if I just lean into that, it doesn't feel like I'm fighting with myself. It's like, okay, like this has presented itself, but like we can overcome this. Like we can learn from this. We're fine. And like the universe has always taken care of me, always. So
Hmm.
what is it that I'm afraid of?
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. And I in that I'm hearing like more of an abundant view of potential in what you just shared. So yeah, that makes me think about your relationship to money because I know that was a big thing that we were
Oh,
talking
Lord have mercy.
pricing and how much you're charging and yeah, all of that, just relationship to money. So I'm curious to yeah, just hear more about your relationship to money. You can speak to the work that we've done and how that's impacted your relationship to money, but also in general, how your relationship to money has grown. And any other things you feel that are helpful, including our work, but other things that you found helpful in your relationship to money.
I don't think I realized until we started discussing my relationship to money how much financial trauma that I was holding and how much it was slowing me down. And I think to me that is continuous work. Like I think even being in private practice, there's always this case of like, you wanting to help folks and make therapy more accessible, but also recognize that like I have bills and like I also like need to live and like not feeling bad about that. And like, what is the healthy balance? Like, I have clients that I see for $0 and I have clients that I see for 300, $400. And like, they can coexist. It doesn't make me a bad practitioner if I want to take care of myself. And like, the more I take care of myself, the better therapist I am. And so now it's like learning how to say no and not feeling bad. Like, no, like this is the rate. The rate is the rate. That's it. And like we're not doing payment plans. Like this is what it is. And like not being scared that you won't attract clients because that was my biggest fear when I went full time as an entrepreneur. I was like, oh my God, I'm not gonna attract. And it was so funny because it literally has been the complete opposite. I have referrals every week. Nothing has slowed down. People are looking for the kid out here, and then and I'm fine. Like I'm maintaining my life, and it's been great.
Oh man, yeah, no, what I heard of that is like seeing your worth and like prioritizing yourself, like not sacrificing yourself for other people. So yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. I'm curious in this work, what are some ways you've surprised yourself? Like what are some things you're like, "Ooh, I didn't see this coming," but like you surprised yourself in the process of your own creations?
I think that the biggest thing is quieting the noise of the folks who either will never do what you do or like don't see the vision. You know what I mean? Like it's not a conference call. Like as much as I would love to look at my circle and be like, you want people to cheer for you, I actually don't need you to because like this is what I know that I'm supposed to do. And like there's a reason why I'm called to this work and like why I even question it at this point. It's just what it is. And even well-meaning folks, like at a certain age, our parents have never done any of the things that we've ever done, right? So when I tell my parents, they're like excited, but they're like, bro, are you making money? But like, what happens if you don't make any money? And I'm like, ooh, but like that's your projections about because you've never done this.
Yeah,
That don't have nothing to do with me. And every month they're like, oh my God, things are going well. Why are you surprised? I'm me.
yeah, yeah,
And I also got to highlight my own lineage because I recently found out that all of the women on my dad's side of the family are all business owners.
yeah.
And I never knew that. And I was like, oh, so this is what we do. Okay,
Uh,
got it.
I love that. I love that. So when it seems like yeah, you've created a foundation for yourself. When you think about your next level, the next level of more, the next level of creation, what are some edges that you feel like, yeah, you are meeting or that you feel like are like the next edges for you and you're blooming?
Ooh. I think now it's the work is really breaking out of this habit of overworking and this habit of holding multiple jobs and not creating space to like recharge and like recenter because I'm still working through scarcity. Like I'm still actively working through it. So to me now is like you will make the money that you deserve. You will make enough money. There will always be money, and it's always going to come. You do not need to work 100 jobs. You could literally just focus on the work that you love, and everything that you need will come to you. And I feel like that's the space I'm trying to move into through quarter 2. Each quarter I have a goal for myself, and that's my goal for quarter 2. It's just like trusting that it's all coming. It's all coming, and it is. And what does ease look like for me? So ease has looked like hiring someone to clean my house because I don't want to.
Mhm.
It's great.
Oh, that.
Massages bi-weekly, 8 hours of sleep because I need that.
Yeah.
And it makes it all so much better, so much more enjoyable, you know? And I feel like that's my focus. That's what I'd like to see in the next couple months.
I love that. And in that I'm hearing this is a bit of my own experience, but in that I'm hearing kind of like the ability to be like, I'm resourceful. Like it can be figured out. You know what I mean?
Always.
Like it can get better than I expected, and it can be figured out, whatever it is. You know, I'm hearing that like the trust, not just the trust in like whatever, but trust in yourself too. Like is what I'm hearing as well. Or at least that's what kind of my experience of this season is like. Also, like yeah, just trust in your ability to like figure be resourceful, and yeah, create more of what you want. So. I love that. Yeah, that taking care of yourself and trusting in whatever you want. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful. I'm so happy for you. I'm so happy for you. Okay, let's see. I got one more question. Yeah, so if you were speaking to like what do you feel was like a highlight of our work together? If there's something that stands out to you, what was like a highlight moment where you're like, oh, I'm glad I did this, or this stood out to me?
I mean, I always feel like that. Every time we have a
That's love.
conversation, to be fair, I always feel like that. But I think something that stood out to me initially is the power that can manifest when just one person can see your value and see your impact. Because I think that like I wasn't there yet. I think that like you would naturally pour into me, like in our work and even like as a friend in a way that I was like, ooh, like, well, how come I don't see that in myself? Like what's happening? And like once I was able to see it, then I feel like I became like unstoppable. And then I also had to go back that I have also been a businesswoman from young, like selling bracelets at the YMCA at like 8. And in my head, I was like, where did that come from? Oh, because it's always been in you. And I feel like you just highlighted something that's always been here.
Mhm,
And now that it's here, it's like I am limitless.
mhm.
And like, I don't need validation to know that to be true because it's always been in me.
Yeah.
And I feel like that was like huge in
Mm,
our work.
that's brilliant. That's brilliant. It feels good to hear you say that with so much conviction too. Because I remember like when we first started, there was a part of you that was so hopeful, but was also like, we'll see, and like now,
Yes.
now to hear you be so like convicted, like, yeah, of course. Like I've been doing this since I was 8. This is my lineage, you know what I mean? Like that's really, really beautiful to see. Okay, so two more questions. So one is if there's someone that you feel like is thinking about either starting their business or they're looking to this and they're like, is Kyle someone that could be helpful for me? What insights do you have that you think would be helpful for them in their decision making?
I think it all comes down to how much you want to invest in yourself. You know, like we invest a lot of time into companies that don't care about us, that are not invested in our personal growth or our evolution. And at some point, you have to make a choice. And it's fine. It's fine if you want to work forever and like get your 401k, and that's great. But it's also fine to also recognize that we don't even live in those times anymore. Like that does not exist. And it's an opportunity for us to lean into like our gifts that really can create a new life that we've never seen. And like, I think we all deserve that. And
Mm.
it's more so about like, do you think you deserve that?
Mm. Bars.
That's really it.
Bars. My last question was gonna be if you have any like final words to people, but that itself felt like final words. So no pressure if you don't have any final words. But if you do have another insight that you want to share, where you just like general, like this is landing for you, you feel like this is worth saying to someone that's on the path. If there's anything that's coming through, maybe this person's already on the path. They're not making a decision. They're on the
Yeah.
path. If you have anything that's landing that you're like, ooh, this is what I want to say, what would that be?
I feel like don't be afraid to continuously rewrite your story because we always have the opportunity to make the life we want for ourselves. It doesn't matter if you start now, you start 6 months from now, if you're 23, if you're 33, like we can always begin again. And like if you have folks in your space that like see that for you, there's a reason that they are in your space. I feel there's a reason that we met. There's a reason why we work together. There's a reason why we are still in each other's lives. And it's because like this is what the universe wants for us, you
Yeah,
know?
facts, facts. Woo! Woo! Whoa! I appreciate you. I appreciate you. All right, I'm gonna clip it right
Of
there.
course.
But